It's the official NRL Fantasy Podcast.
Our NRL Fantasy's open, the app's open, and we've got games this very weekend. So why not introduce a new podcast? Yes, podcasts are back. We're doing it again for 2025 after an absence of a few years. Paulie G, Daniel Long, Andrew Molinaroli here to take you through this weekend's games. Team lists obviously came in earlier in the week. So guys, why don't we start with that Friday night game? It's the Sharks v the Warriors. Cronulla have named a few of their stars. I think Kyle Iro, who had a big game for it this last year in fantasy, right? He's playing, Sandy Gatoa, a few others, but then like the halves, Nico Hines and Trindle aren't playing. So what did you make out of that team list?
Yeah, so for Cronulla, I think they're a pretty settled entity. They're a team that we know. They've brought in Adam Fanor-Blake. They've kept most of their guys. The back line should be pretty set. Forward pack looks pretty set to me too. I'm going to have a look at Talakai and see how he looks adjusting into that back row. Well, if there's an injury at some point and he steps in, he'll be value. But outside of that, I mean, Kyle Iro, you could talk about him as a guy who might make that second-year leap. He was unbelievable, especially down the stretch last year. So I'll watch him. But overall, there's not a lot of fantasy implications from this game for me.
Are you picking Sharks players?
Probably not. I mean,
I like Nico.
I like Nico.
He's not going to play.
I like AFB, but again, I think they're probably only two guys that seriously looking at. I was going to say, so last year towards the end of the year, Sam Stone Street.
Yeah.
So did any of you guys pick him up? I picked him up out of necessity more than anything, and he actually did really well for me last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be too relevant at the start of the year anyway, but he's worth.
It's one you have a look at. Although has he outpriced himself? Didn't he go too well?
I have a he's close to my heart because he did well for me when I absolutely
like
need
the cut of his jib.
Yeah, there's nothing like the way between a man and his fantasy cheating, right?
What about the Warriors? Because they went the other way and named everybody pretty much. Although I don't know where Tanner Boyd is, but hey, good news if you like Luke Metcalf because he's named at 7.
Yeah, this is an exciting roster. So when I saw this, I gotta be honest, the Warriors moved up my ladder predictions a couple of spots.
Really?
They just started to flesh out for me a bit because I sort of thought, all right, that's actually a nice back line.
Surely they bounce back.
But the forward pack's tough.
Yep.
I'll challenge you. Which forward pack would you want to run out less than one that has Fisher Harris and Mitch Barnett?
You know I'm starting with Barnett this year.
Ooh, you could go Fisher Harris as well.
The Warriors have an early bye, so probably just one. But you're right. So if you didn't like Barnett or you were going an alternative to Barnett, then Fisher Harris because he's quite a bit cheaper.
Is there anything you want to see in this trial game then for?
It's going to be interesting. What do you think, Andrew?
I think the Warriors, they're pretty full strength. Other than that, I just want to see a new Cleary take the stage. Jack Cleary's been named.
Oh yeah, there's a big squad, right?
That's a huge squad. So if nothing else, I'm excited to see Jack Cleary run around in the Warriors game.
What did you guys think? It is full strength, so RTS on the wing means that's where he's going to play this year.
Yeah, but I don't think it's super fantasy relevant for mine.
No.
I think he was pretty productive at centre, and I think it stays about the same.
Yeah.
If we go into the halves, though, Luke Metcalf.
That's the guy you like. That's who I like. I think he's going to be. I did say I don't want to have multiple Warriors, but I think if Metcalf ends up at 7, I'll have Barnett and Metcalf, and I'll have to deal with that in round 4. I think said by Aaron Clark though at lock.
Well, yeah. Now that Tohu's not there anymore, obviously that opens up some minutes for him.
Walker could take it back.
I do honestly believe that Dylan Walker's a genuine 14 now. So
wow.
So I don't know who they are thinking, obviously, who they're thinking for the 13-year-old, but it wouldn't surprise me if Aaron Clark gets a nod. And Dylan Walker is the impact player like that.
This will ruin my Barnett call because if I've got Metcalf and Clark, how am I going to fit Barnett in?
Yeah.
I mean, you could just...
No, round 4 last year I had 3 Storm, and you know what happened? I had 12 available there.
Yeah, but this is pre-season, Paulie.
No.
The time for delusion.
Not
the time for
get him in.
I tried. I only had 2 trades. Don't do this, people.
Yeah.
Don't.
I mean, let's
1, maybe 2.
We'll talk about Aaron Clark here, though, because historically, when he gets big minutes, he averages 50+.
That's right.
Fantasy production's there, but There also is
Dual
that
position?
risk.
Yeah, I was going to say dual position, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but can't you see it? Like, he gets on, he plays the first 30 minutes, plays hard, and then Dylan Walker comes on. And you end up with a guy who, he scores 30 minutes and 30 points. It's very impressive, but it's not doing the job.
Then Dylan Walker's
You're worried he's not going to come back on. Or he comes back on at hooker for like 10 minutes while Wade Egan gets a tiny spell.
Well, my worry is that this hybrid middle forward hooker is something they've done before with Jazz Tavanga and another talented player who didn't get the minutes to make him fantasy relevant. So
It's a good reason to watch tonight because we'll see how Clark goes. I know Walker isn't on the bench to sub him out, but still we'll get a gauge, right?
yeah, you can't read into minutes too much, but if he looks good, then he might have earned that spot.
Well, I mean, he's playing for a spot, right? So, like, the 13 is kind of available. So, like, why wouldn't he just watch tonight and then watch him have an absolute crack? You know, he could get the nod at 13.
Anything else out of tonight's game?
Got one more, and it's a real specky, but just keep an eye on it. Jacob Laban. He looked good last year. Named to start. Don't read into that too much right now, but if he comes out and plays unbelievable footy, there are spots available.
So Jackson Ford, we're not sure what's happening there.
Ford was moved around. He played in the middle a bit last year. Heck, he could be a lock candidate as a starter as well. But it just seems more open than it should be. So Laban could sneak into the team.
All right, turning to Saturday, we've got Panthers taking on the Raiders. These coaches haven't given us as much joy. They haven't really named anyone expected to start. To me, I'm worried if I'm thinking about Isaiah Papali'i, because I think the fact that he's named and no one else is a worry that he's not going to be in the starting 13 for the Vegas match.
See, we're going to disagree pretty hard. Oh, we can get into it, but I think Isaiah Papali'i is an unbelievable footballer. There was a reason why he was the Dally M second row of the year at Parramatta. He was one of the top fantasy producers that year. I think it was a 62 average. He joins Penrith and theoretically plays right next to Nathan Cleary, right?
Theoretically, what about Liam Martin?
I don't know. Maybe Liam Martin switches sides. There's a bit of talk he could play in the middle. I just think they've gone and gotten Isaiah Papali'i, and there's no way he would have signed that contract if he wasn't going to at least have a shot at being the starter. So,
I totally agree with Longy here. So, with all due respect to West Tigers, he's had quite a long off season. The Panthers haven't, So he needs to get those miles in his legs. So he needs to be around that system. I've been told that he is going to be starting
On an edge?
on an edge.
well, he's named on the edge. So if he's going to start, he'll be on the edge.
Yeah, like you train how you play, right, Paulie?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I think his best chance he'll be fighting like with Matt Eisenhuth for a bench spot.
We need to do a video 4 rounds in and do a review.
We don't even need to, because we'll know that very first Tuesday.
Yeah.
If he's named in the team, then you guys are right. If he's not, then I was
I
right.
mean, I'd give you the points if he played less than 60 minutes, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think he's one of my first picked. I'm super excited about him in draft leagues. I'm reaching for him as well. So maybe there's a bit of Parramatta bias in me, but I just think he's fantastic.
And is Blaze Talangi a lock now for the 5/8 role with those halves?
Yep.
The way the halves rolled?
Yes.
Mostly, yeah.
Because you just said about players not playing in finals, having to get legs under them, but he's not picked.
Yeah. I know, he's a kid.
Different reasons to play.
I know, it's different things. I know.
I think I put a hole in your argument here.
You may have. But
Bring it on, Team Paulie G.
We're 8 minutes
I've got
in.
nothing. I've got nothing, Paulie. You're smoking.
Look, we'll know in round 1, but I think they've bought Blaze for that role as well. So I'm going to make that same case. Other thing to look at here is the McLean brothers.
Well, they're both named, so surely Alamotti is now the man, right? And
He's your guy at centre, but they're fighting for a wing spot, right? They've both been named on the wings. I think the one of them that sort of shows out in preseason potentially could be the one who steals that spot.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
right, you're not worried there's someone else waiting in the wings, pardon the pun?
No, they have been waiting in the wings.
So you're saying this game is a face-off, Nicolas Cage style, with John Travolta?
I mean, maybe. I think it's going to play a part.
In the movie, they look identical, and those guys are twins, so it all kind of...
If one of them shows out, I think they can earn that spot 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's exciting.
So Jordan McLean at 250K.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Jesse McLean.
Jesse, yeah.
Jordan at Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Is there a fourth?
Yeah, I was like, is that? Yeah. I think I'm going to pick him up just because I think. So I've said it before. He's a he's a goer. He's a good player. He's going to be a star for the future. Can score a try. Solid in defence. Big body. Breaks tackle.
What brings in the greater conversation is how many Vegas players do you want? Because obviously your Vegas players start in the first half of week 1. We don't even know who's going to get named out of the rest of our squad. So are you pushing hard? I pushed hard last year with a lot of Roosters players, but a lot of them ended up busts like Siwa Wong and obviously Tupanua.
The problem is with the Panthers, and they won't do it after one round, but they have the squad to rotate their roster. So,
because Cleary, Yeo, Papali'i, McLean, like maybe Talangi, like you there's a lot of fantasy relevant players there, and I haven't even that's just the big ones.
Yeah,
there's probably cases you could make for some of their other players.
I mean, for me, Vegas plays no part at all in my decision making.
Okay, so you're not thinking get a few more in, get it sorted, get a captain in.
I'm not fussed in the slightest really about Vegas.
Just around to you.
I just think it's a longer round. Like I'm excited.
A longer round. Yeah.
I think in general, footy terms, there's a bit to be said about the American pitches being a little faster. That's fun to watch, but it's not going to persuade me to go one guy over the other for a full season.
You had a good start to your year last year, and you were.
I had Teddy. Teddy has a massive pod. He was.
So listen to this, man.
Yeah.
No,
not me. I had a terrible start.
You came good. Raiders, again, Ricky Stewart, probably should have expected this. Didn't really name anyone. Are we applying the same theory to the Matt Nicholson pick, though? The fact that he has been named is purely because he wants to see him get a bit more mileage?
He needs to get eyeballs on him. He needs to see what he's like under duress.
I think that means he's down the list.
Yeah.
I think Corey Horsburgh's going to play edge.
Oh, okay. I'll touch Matt Nicholson first, and then we can get into the outrageous statement.
That's not outrageous at all. Again,
outrageous.
We'll rewind this tape. We'll replay this tape.
Matty Nicholson, super young, out of the Super League. They won't expect him to start and play big minutes, from week 1. Some people really hype him. Others have questions about him, but I think it's just an eye test play. If he looks really good, he might earn himself a bench spot.
Like Smithies did.
Yeah.
Smithies really pushed, didn't he?
It took me by surprise, Smithies, but I think Longy's right with this one.
The stats at Super League, though, don't translate for Nicholson to come over here and be a fantasy gun.
So the fantasy relevance isn't necessarily him. It's more, does he ruin Zach Hosking?
Oh, you like Hosking. I don't think he's even going to be on the field.
Oh, Hosking, if he's fit, is their starting back rower 100%. And Hudson Young obviously locked in.
Yeah, well, Hosking prefers to play on the right anyway.
So it's Hudson and who else?
I think Corey Horsburgh will play right.
Corey Horsburgh.
It's just what I think's going to happen.
I mean, look, if I was coach, which I'm not, and I'm definitely not qualified to be, I'd have him at lock.
I'm absolutely running a blank. So it's Hudson Young. Who else was there last year? So it was Zach.
Elliot White.
Yeah, White.
He's retired. Well,
Sasangi played there a bit
gone
as
to
well.
play Super League, I should say. Sasangi, maybe, but
I think it's Hosking.
So Hosking's out until round 1. Is Ricky really going to risk him with no football on his belt for a significant time? Because he was injured pretty much all last year as well.
Well, there might be a rotation play, potentially. Might not play 80 minutes. Because I'm not going to start with Hosking. But if he was fully fit, he'd be a guy that most people would have in their teams.
For next week's pod, I need to deep dive on these injury histories. I need to. Hosking out. We talk about the halves, guys like Munster. Are we really going to take chances on 4 or 5 guys who are coming in off big injury clouds?
I mean, pre-season is for delusion. It's the time. It's the time to swing for the fences. Like we're not scarred yet.
Yeah, but what's that, Paulie? You're talking about injury. Like you're going to go all in on Horsburgher. You are?
Well, I think it was not related to an injury. I think even Ricky, they had a falling out. But they've like
the other redhead, he's not going to, it's not resolved. He's going to hold on to this stuff.
To be fair, that happened with Tarpanay a few years back, and then he came back.
Go, Corey. I'm Team Corey.
As a prop or a lock? See, I would love him at lock.
I think.
He looks want him on the edge. He looks fit.
He looks fit.
To be going to pick him and hope.
Well, we all like Horsburgh. That's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah. Okay. And I like Hosking too. If I can see him with some fitness, I think get him as well.
Yeah, I don't see Horsburgh on the edge though.
So, question for you guys: Horsburgh, if he's a starter, he's very interesting at 550k. Prop, lock, we'll throw edge in, and we can throw centre in if we want to as well.
No, that's
really. But so those forward spots.
You'll see.
Is he a guy you're starting with round one?
Yeah.
Any of those spots though?
I'm
Just for
looking
me, I
elsewhere.
like him in all.
I don't know. I'm looking elsewhere.
What about Hot Tamale?
Yeah, I mean, he's a young guy, super talented. You had some nice words to say in our selection video. It's pretty straightforward. He's cheap.
300,
right?
300K. And now that Hopewadi's been named because he's going to miss round one, the birth of his child is due, so he'll miss Vegas. So I just wonder if Tamale plays round one, wins them over, stays there. Obviously, it's a big risk.
Has Hopper done enough though?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
a big
I
risk.
thought he had done enough last year.
It's a huge risk.
He's got talent.
But the Raiders backline, besides Matt Timoko, isn't settled, is it?
It's
Like if someone plays their way into it, they'll keep us.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Rapin has gone now, so
Weeks will play fullback.
Weeks play fullback,
yeah.
or Chevy Stewart. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's another guy.
I know it's weeks 100%.
Yeah, it's Weeks for now. But again, what if Stewart just wins the spot?
did you watch him in the under-19s Origin?
Yeah,
He was. He's ready.
Yeah.
He's going.
But he had a go. He did have a go, and then he
Yeah.
didn't look as ready.
I know, but like another year.
It's another year.
Yeah,
and
I
he's
think-
playing. He's playing.
I think
tomorrow,
he
so
looks
I'm excited to watch.
I think we all have to go back and watch some of those KO Weeks highlights from last year.
Yeah, well, I was.
He created.
I owned him from near the beginning.
But
so
even
I
at
love him.
fullback, the fantasy production fell off a bit. But in real footy terms, he was like lights
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. As a Manly fan, he carved us up. Seeing an excellent Manly player do that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that was a costly loss.
Yep. Tough one.
All right. Well, that's the games. Anything else from that second game that you're interested in?
It's pretty light for this game, really. Just looking for guys to jump off the page. Matty Nicholson in particular, keen to see if he looks like he'll land a spot round one.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk about just players that we're falling in love with. Just through the rumour mill, really, because we haven't had any footy. But between when the game was released and today, is there someone that everyone's talking about has kind of convinced you, I might get on him?
I mean, we'll throw ideas around. Jezewski is being talked about as a starter round one.
Yeah.
I know we've done this before, but he's at base price, right? I'm just going to throw this out there.
Brisbane's crazy because with a new coach and all the eyes on him, because I'm thinking Blake Moser might win the role.
Again, he's a young kid who deserves a shot. I think he's going to be.
But what if Corey Pakes gets it?
Well, he might get it through seniority, but I don't know. I just think
I like Moser.
So do I. I really think that he's the future of the Broncos.
So I've got some numbers on Moser. Historical 23 points in 33 minutes average. So for fantasy production, you're going to need 40 to 50 minutes at least to be relevant there.
60.
Yeah, even 60, right? So I think the real world talent is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Past
maybe
the
he
eye test,
improves.
Maybe he improves 100%, but
Yeah.
historically the numbers aren't on his side. So I'm
Early
kind of
days.
erring away from him. And then you also look at the fact that Ben Hunt probably jumps back into hooker eventually too. So you need him to make cash.
Yeah,
Reasonable speed.
Well, I just thought last year there were too many slow birds, right? I'm not keen on the slow birds this year. Forget about it.
Hookers do that a lot. We had Brendan Hands last year.
Danny Levi was the fastest because he kept scoring tries and he still wasn't great.
I know. I could even that. I got impatient and sold him.
Well, you had to because he didn't keep it up.
Yeah.
Hooker in general last year was amazing. Like he just lost cash and copped bad scores.
So we're looking at if not Moser, but there's still guys like Mamazelis, Matt Arthur if he gets a run. Jake Simpkin you talked about.
Yeah, well, Croker's still battling a bit of an injury, so he'll obviously share that role with Gordon. But yeah, I think Simpkins he's pretty reasonably priced.
Might make a bit of money. Last year, after 6 rounds, the top 10 money makers included guys like Cleese Haas.
Yeah.
So there's always someone that you might not expect, but they end up making money.
Do you want one of those? I reckon
I do.
And these
I
are
do.
real
See,
serious.
this happens at the late end of the podcast. You've got to stay tuned.
Lock anything. Lock it.
That's when you get your gold.
You got your safe cash cows that we all talk about, but I reckon Jamie Humphries finds a way to
Oh, look, you're preaching to the choir.
I don't think
everyone's so set on Mamazella saying
I don't think that's.
I reckon Humphries is that.
I mean, he's a Manly fan, so he's going to love it.
Okay.
It's
Well,
got a
you tell us
Manly
about
connection.
it. You got it.
Well, no, I'm heartbroken. I don't like him anymore.
Oh, wow. That's
No, he's
controversial.
an absolute gun. He played 1 or 2 games last year, and again, just didn't look out of place.
Yeah.
You'd listen to our friends at the Buy Round podcast. Tony Mestroff was on a series they did, and he brought up Jamie Humphries unprovoked to basically say, oh, that was one we didn't want to let go, but we had to do the right thing by the player because there was no position for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that hurts because he's going to be good too. He looks.
Yeah. I
like
like
a good
Jamie
footy brain.
Humphries. I don't mind just sticking him in. What about, we go back to Broncos for just one more moment, because I like Kobe Hetherington. Is that crazy?
I don't think.
Yeah. It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
Just give me a second to process
I'm
it.
getting Palacia flashbacks a little bit. Remember when he
Kobe, I had Kobe like 4 years ago.
I think
The Kobe
I think I
And he actually did all right. He made about 60, 70 K.
He's a goer. He's a goer.
If he gets starting lock, like that's what they're saying.
nothing wrong with him, but why would the Broncos move Carrigan to prop long term?
It makes no
Sitting
sense.
Kane Haas, Corey Jensen,
Corey
Xavier
Jensen was
Wilson,
really good.
all of them deserve minutes.
Wilson deserves.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Wilson looks
But it's the Mad years. Like I've had that for the West Tigers for 4 seasons. Like you'll get some crazy takes. Even if they're false news, like you'll get it.
Was Madge the coach when Offa Hengawi pumped out 55 points a game?
Oh, I'd say so.
Yeah, because that's another. He played him at long, right? And he never really got that lock role anywhere else. So
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a shout.
And then he went off to the Eels.
Yeah,
It could have been Sheen still. It's hard to remember.
Yeah, Offa Hengawi, by the way, cheeky pod if he gets a starting.
Eels
spot.
fan over
Cheeky pod.
I've been listening to all your podcasts all off season, Lonnie, and the Eels love. I've been waiting 21 and a half minutes to shut down Eels.
Oh, mate.
Off a head going.
Look at Rolls comes in.
Come on, he's at price. How's Hopgood going to go any better?
Hopgood's priced at 55. He pumped out a 62 the year
I've
before.
been yelling at the car radio, listening to your
Look,
pods with
I'm
Biz.
not going to say sorry because they're going to
it's
come
part
off.
of their game.
They're going to come off. Last year, what was it last year or the year before? Rumor Greg.
Dylan Brown.
No one got on him. He scored tons of points through the Origin period. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to do some research.
Like genuinely, how do you feel?
Fact check this.
How do you feel that Eels are going to go this year? Genuinely,
Loaded.
take the Eels hat off.
So no, the answer is from the Eels hat.
Yeah.
So last year, very frustrating. I've given Rolls a complete clean slate. I think as a fan, when you get a new coach in,
Of course.
you know, I'm a believer. Everything they do is gold to me right now.
Blue and gold.
Yeah, and you go, with Lomax,
he gonna play?
you lose RCG.
Is Adakar
play
get to
style.
play from round one?
Oh, you guys are taking Parramatta. Look, Parramatta,
No, I'm just
no,
asking.
no. We don't hate any club.
they're going to be fun to watch.
Okay.
They're going to be really fun to watch. That's what I'm getting at. Like,
Okay.
Well, maybe he does a Trent. Maybe Rice does a Trent Robinson.
I just think you look at the Storm over the years. I think Para will try to play that style. It's a talented halves pairing at least who can try to replicate that.
Yep.
And you've got now a backline that can support it. So
Hard to win as a new coach. That's what I would say.
I'm a Riles believer, mate.
Yeah.
I'm a Riles believer.
I mean, he's saying all the right things, isn't he? So that's
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Anyone else, Andrew? Who are you looking at?
I really like. I know this is silly. Trent Liero. I think he's ready for a big year.
The Storm have a buy in round 2.
Okay. I thought we're just players that we like. I like Trent Liero.
Go on.
I think.
Draft.
I
You're
think.
picking up in draft.
I think. Yeah.
Giving away your secret.
Melbourne
This is such a pod.
prime this year.
It could happen.
They're prime this
What
year.
about Stefano? Is he not going to come in? And, I mean, I don't think he will. I mean, I think he will actually won't even be in the starting 13 in round 1.
That's Juicy's.
I'm with you here. I think he slowly warms into the year.
So that's
and
good
he's
for Liero.
unbelievable in the middle of the season.
Yeah, so you could start with Liero and then trade him out for Stefano at the right time and you could make millions.
Look, and I laughed at your Liero take, but he did crack into the Origin picture last year. Like, he's a guy on the up. He passes the eye test.
That's right.
I'm not about it for fantasy, but I can see why you're doing it.
If Billy Slater's, the bush poet, if he's all over him, then so am I.
I got one for you for my hot take. I'm not going to start with Cleary.
Ooh. Captain round 1, who have you got?
Isaiah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like I need to be different this year. I just feel like
Cleary's chasing the Dally M this year.
maybe.
I feel like that's what he's doing this year.
I can always jump on him.
Everything else. So, that's the one thing he needs.
Round 1 and 2, if he has 2 good games, I'll just buy him in round 3.
I mean, Blaze Talangi is the perfect halves partner for him to have as well. I reckon he's going to be unbelievable.
Sometimes you just got to zig when others zag.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You do need to take a couple of picks that no one else is taking. So I mean, this is one, right?
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
that's
someone else,
in Trent Liero,
It gives you a lot of money. You can pick up guys like either a Dylan Lucas or a Beaufort in the centres. He otherwise couldn't. You can have a very strong middle, a very strong pack. So guys like Barnett, Yeo, Terrell May can all fit in my pack and Connor Watson with no difficulty.
Yeah, no, I like it. You got to take some sort of pod. My big one this year is Bradman Best. I'm always talking about him. But I think if in the trials...
There you go. There's a good pod.
I like it. I like it.
He's next to Ponga in the trials a bit, and they combine. The run of fixtures...
Would you take them both? Would you go the Ponga Best combo? Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's the two of them.
I love that idea.
Mazu as well. I might just stack the edge.
Well, I like the idea of the stack. The only problem with the Knights is they're another team that have an early bye. I'm doing the Manly stack, Andrew. I'm going to go Garrick and Turbo in my wing fullbacks combo.
Please don't have the kiss of death this year, Paul.
No. I'm picking the Sharks to win it all.
Oh, there you go.
So
There we go.
just Manly to start fast.
Okay, yeah. I mean, look, Turbo, Garrick, they get it done every year. It's pretty straightforward. But do you think Turbo is going to be, because he's priced at about a 52? Is that a jump to 60 in your mind?
Yeah, I'm hoping he makes about 100K or so. Yeah. It's a nice looking first 4 weeks, and then 4 of their first 5 games are at home.
Okay. Does that mean that you've got him as the top wing fullback this year? Because Turbo, Latrell, Teddy, Dylan Edwards,
I still like Ponga. I still like Latrell.
I like Ponga, yeah.
But I just like where Turbo's priced, and I like that early start, and I'm hoping to make a bit of money.
Yeah. Could we talk about Latrell too? Because when you jump to the top of the list, he's 800K.
Seems a bit pricey.
It is,
Expensive. But he averaged 60 last year.
Yeah.
Right.
And he looks fitter.
He looks good. Beard as well. Instead of that.
You just wanted to squeeze that in. It's the end of the show. We've hit our thing, and you're like, let's just do one more thing.
There are performance
because of the beard. I knew it. We'll have to save Latrell for the next podcast. But guys, it's our first major one, so I think we've done well.
Yeah.
Footy's back. How exciting.
Yeah, and we'll keep doing this, of course. This year, on NRL.com, on the app, we're changing it up a bit. As you know from this podcast, we've got you recapping the weekend's games still on Monday. Maybe people didn't know about that, but that's going to be every Monday once the regular season starts. Obviously, these podcasts are back. They'll be done on a Tuesday, so we can give you news from Team List Tuesday once the season's rolling. But we will have podcasts going each week as pre-season as well. Then Wednesday, you'll get the best advice on video at NRL.com. Check it out. The live Q&A is switching days. It's going to be on Thursday night, taking you right up to game time, so 6:30. Stay tuned for that. You can ask questions, all the rest of it on YouTube. Very exciting. And then Friday to Sunday, of course, just stay tuned to NRL.com for the best in-game highlights from your favourite fantasy players. I can't wait. Longy, Andrew, thank you so much. I'm Paulie G. We'll see you all very soon.